All right, good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you guys giving us some time today to talk through some nonprofit challenges and how DonorPoint and Scanco are approaching those moving forward. So today, we've got about 30 minutes. I've got Ron Cass also as a part of this demonstration and webinar, and we'll introduce ourselves here in a moment for you. So I'm Paul Kerr. I'm a product sales specialist here at Scanco. Been with Scanco for going on a few years now in some various roles. And I work primarily with Ron on the DonorPoint software and some other pieces of software involved in procurement and payments piece. So I'll let Ron introduce himself.
And hi, everybody. I'm Ron Cass. I was the founder, or just am the founder of DonorPoint back in 2010. And since our acquisition by Scanco, I've been retitled with the role of VP of e-commerce and a particular DonorPoint product owner.
Awesome. So today, we've got four main pieces that we want to get through. A little bit about Scanco and DonorPoint, a little bit about what we do and kind of, how we position ourselves in a couple different industries. Our second thing we want to talk through is, where Scanco and DonorPoint are, collaborating in some different spaces. We'll talk about nonprofit challenges, and then after Ron goes through some of those challenges, he's going to talk a little bit about, the donor engagement platform that DonorPoint offers and how we approach some of those challenges as well. So you may be familiar with Scanco already. But if you're not, I'll give you a little bit of background about us. So we've been a leading provider of supply chain automation software for over 30 years. And over this time, our solutions have delivered unequaled efficiency and visibility for manufacturers and distributors worldwide. Our solutions range from simple barcoding to complex distribution and manufacturing operations. And our goal is to continue to lead the industry with our innovation and provide a top-tier, fully integrated automation system specifically for your ERP. Thousands of companies trust us with their supply chain challenges, and we're happy to provide them with cutting-edge solutions. So DonorPoint, as Ron mentioned, was founded in 2011, and today they serve many United Ways, schools, and numerous other nonprofits in various forms, helping them consolidate their current systems into one all-in-one donor engagement system and streamline their efforts and help them continue to do even more with their communities on a daily basis. So what makes Scanco and DonorPoint a great team? There's a few different pieces to this, and many people might be asking, why is Scanco getting involved with nonprofits, and why is DonorPoint, collaborating with Scanco? And this collaboration is going to allow us to deliver more functionality to nonprofits and our existing customers alike, especially with regards to payments and e-commerce services. With DonorPoint being a leader in the nonprofit space already, bringing Scanco's history of innovation, that will only allow us to do more business, with charities and our existing customers to expand what they do in various ERP systems. And lastly, with this collaboration, we're now positioned to deliver more tools to streamline how nonprofits operate and increase their impact in their communities. So I'll let Ron talk through some challenges that nonprofits go through, and then how we address some of those and how the DonorPoint system can help alleviate some of these.
So here are some common challenges that we see with nonprofits, in particular their online services, their online presence to the communities that are their constituents. The first, most important, everything falls from this really, is low website donation conversion. And what I mean by that is when someone comes to the website with the intent to make a donation, so they hit a donate now button, they respond to a link in an email or a social media post, a low number of those actually convert into a successful gift. Another common one, regardless of online or offline, is highly seasonal giving trends. We all know that a large happens in the last 6 weeks of the year. In particular, the summer is a time of doldrums, and so it's difficult for nonprofits to plan effectively for their receivables on a year-by-year basis. Using multiple platforms to reach their constituents, one for email, one for giving, one for events, one for special events like auctions and raffles. And that leads to a diverse donor experience, so they don't have a unified experience in front of the donor or constituent in general. They're seeing multiple websites when they interact with the organization, and it also leads to scattered data. You've got data that really contains the view of your constituent spread across multiple systems that may be difficult to integrate into the systems that you desire to run your business on. Then limited giving options. You may be restricted to just credit card or a small subset of credit cards. You may not have electronic checks available to you. And this may be, again, on a campaign by campaign basis. So for events, you may be able to take online credit cards, but not ACH, as opposed to having a full offering in front of you for your donation pages. And then you may have a lack of flexibility with your software, or be working with consultingware, if you will, where any change that you want to make comes with an operational cost, either in time, your own time and materials, or you have to go out to consultant to say, hey, we need to make this change. So let's drill down a bit just on that conversion points, and really a lot of things flow from there. So this is 2021 data on nonprofit conversions from their donation pages. So this is measuring when a constituent, an intended donor, comes to the donation page. So they're not navigating from the website. They're actually on the ask that a nonprofit will be taking transaction on, and only 21% of those transactions, intended transactions, are successful. And it breaks down differently by area and need, as you see there. But that's a very low figure. And in particular, if we compare it with what we see across the board in e-commerce, right? So subsuming nonprofit, the e-commerce of the world, the Amazons, the eBays, the transactions that you make and we all make on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, it's over twice as much. And this is actually accelerated over time. This was when we first started monitoring these surveys about 8 years ago, it was only 33%. Of course, in the e-commerce space, they've got a lot of resources to optimize systems, optimize their presence in front of consumers to close deals, to convert transactions. But they've also got a lot of inhibitors in there that are completely irrelevant to the nonprofit space. So people are just window shopping over their lunch break, or they're comparing prices on their phone as they're in the store. But they're still, converting at over twice the rate the nonprofits are. So what this tells us is there's something that the e-commerce space is better at than the nonprofit, and that it's worth looking at that space to see, where nonprofits can improve. And we've done a lot of research on this. And Paul, if you go forward, what e-commerce sites do on their pages through tips, tricks, technologies, practices are the following things. Number one, they'll educate the consumer about the product in question. So all the information the consumer needs to make a decision is in one spot. They don't have to go anywhere else. They're inspired by the impact the product can have on their lives and motivated to purchase. So there's a call to action on there. Add to your cart, but also the description of the product includes benefits, if you will. They're captivated by the company. So there's a lot of theory out there on people will do business with companies and people that they know, like, and trust. And so there's a lot of branding, there's a lot of messaging about what the company does, how effective their products are, how effective they are at getting the product into the person's hands, and to build a trust relationship with the company, which ends in that trust that the consumer is going to be treated well. Their transaction will be quick and efficient, their data will be secure, their payment information will be secure, they won't be overcharged, they'll receive the impact of their purchase effectively. And that's not so different to what fundraisers do, right? They educate constituents on what the organization does. They inspire them to take action on the organization's behalf by giving to the organization. They're inspired, captivated by the organization's mission, and they're trusted that their money will be stewarded well in how it reaches the community. So there's a lot of justification for going to the e-commerce space for improvements in nonprofits, and that's the core, the inspiration for the DonorPoint platform. Again, we've been in business for about 12 years, 2014, 2024, getting my years right, 13 years. And our goal is to provide e-commerce best practices, tips, tricks, technologies, pull out what's relevant for fundraising, and put it in tools that fit fundraisers' hands. And that's all in one cloud-based platform that our goal is to support any ask you can make of a potential constituent, whether that be a donation and in best cases, a recurring designation, so one that automatically renews over time. In relevant spaces, capturing where the donor wants that designation to have impact. In multiple venues, so to the individual, online, the Donate Now button, the Giving Tuesday campaign, integrated with social media, but also in places like the workplace. Paul mentioned that we support United Ways, whose primary channel is still in the workplace campaign, in payroll giving. And then also in other community-led fundraisers such as peer-to-peer and crowdfunding. For our arts and culture audience, support for memberships, support for classes. So, sign me up for an annual membership to the museum at a particular level with particular benefits. And also in those arts and cultural institutions, sign me up for a class or a series of classes, potentially at a price that reflects my membership level. And then special events in general is what this next category is called. So the galas, the online events, everything we did during COVID with Zoom meetings, but then on site, your raffles and your galas, auctions, online contests, all the things that don't necessarily raise a lot of money toward mission, but keep people engaged with the organization. That's the fun in fundraising. I hate to use that cliche, but it's true. And then finally, non-transactional stuff. So wide support for volunteering in the community, where people can select where they want to have impact, what shifts, what jobs they want to take, and then just a simple email subscription. So get on the newsletter list, subscribe to different affinity groups, what have you. Now, of course, we're doing all the payment processing, whether that's by credit card, by electronic check, ACH, by just signing up for an invoice, so bill me later, if we're in a live site taking cash or check, and then other options such as in-kind donations, stocks, property, as well as payroll in those workplace campaigns. We've got integrated email and social marketing, so we can get that constituent site out to the right people at the right time to get them to convert on that gift, all backed by a rich database with easy to use and impactful reporting and analytics. And then where we really shine is an open platform that's flexible, it's configurable to your brand, your design, it looks like another page on your website, and the data is also integratable with the other systems that you use to run your business on, such as ERP systems, which is Scanco's bread and butter, or donor management CRM systems, where we've interacted historically. And finally, to emphasize, this is tailored for nonprofit users. So this is not a techie system. Our customers are the people that are actually raising money, interacting with constituents every day, and they're in DonorPoint, putting together special events, running reports, what have you, to make it a part of the way they do the business of fundraising. So let's see a couple examples of that. One I mentioned in our arts and culture space, Huntsville Museum of Art has an e-shop, if you will, that allows constituents to select from memberships to give gift memberships, which they can select that the gift membership package is emailed automatically to the recipient or put in their hands so they can put an envelope and under the tree. They run a number of events, from galas to seminars to meet and greets, where they have sign up at different pricing levels for member versus non-member, for example, with back office support, a virtual terminal for staff to be able to comp entries for VIPs and senior staff. They run many workshops and classes on the system, everything from free art seminars for homeschooled kids of every age, all the way to high-end workshops artists to instruct on watercolor, and other arts in the community type activities. And then finally, merchandise, and I left this out, but donations as well to the store, to the organization. So in one transaction, and I'm pulling out your card one time, you can join the museum, give a gift membership, register for an event, register kids for classes, make a donation. Example of integrating multiple potential systems using DonorPoint, but also getting all that data into one system that feeds the other systems on which they do business. Another example would be United Way Greater Cleveland. So that same e-commerce model that allows one to add memberships, events, workshops and classes and such to the same catalog and show up in the cart and be processed in the same transaction applies in the United Way space, where the term of art is federated giving. They're taking in money and accepting designations for where the individual wants that money to go in the community. And those designations are reflected the same way in our e-commerce model, effectively as like little SKUs that enables, again, within one system, within one database, the organization to collect pledges or outright cash from their constituents and collect the intent of where they want that gift to go. Some of that happens in the workplace again. So in addition to credit card and electronic check and invoice options, we support payroll, and with the payroll parameters that are relevant to the organization. So whether they support a one-time gift or only throughout the year, whether a person is on 12, 24, or 26 or 52 pay periods, et cetera. So we enable United Way to very efficiently support the workplace, their workplace partners in running their campaign and getting the data that the workplace will eventually need to process pledges, and again, capturing the donor's intent so that they have that trust relationship that their gift is going to where they want it to go. In addition, the United Ways run a lot of special events. So I mentioned before that they're not big money raisers, but they are great for keeping people engaged in the campaign. You know, in the old days, this would be the bake sales and such, but it's still the, give $10 to dress down on Friday, or raffles or auctions for parking spaces, or outright raffles for, we've seen all the way up to high-end gifts such as a ride on the corporate jet with the CEO. So yeah, special events are a big part of campaign, and again, in one system, on one platform, all that data is in one place and can go from that one place to the other systems that they'll use to process payment, process payouts to the designated organizations, and to their accounting systems as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some benefits. So from those initial numbers that I showed you before, on average, our customers are seeing a 33% increase in conversion rates. So when people come to that donation page, they're more likely to convert, 1/3 more likely to convert than in the past. We've seen increases in amounts given, and that's on the individual donation and over the lifetime of the gift. And then we've also seen less seasonality in giving, as people are able to be more effective fundraisers throughout the entire year, and to employ things like recurring giving, where that gift is maybe made at the end of the year at tax time, for example, but is paid out over the entire year to come. All right, Paul. Then into some benefits here. So yeah, just to go over again why we exist. So DonorPoint is a fundraising platform optimized using e-commerce best practices. It operates as under the organization's brand, so it looks like it's a fully integrated part of their business. One of the things that causes people to not convert a gift is if they see a big switch from the organization's website to a website they don't recognize. Some people will question, hey, where's this money going? It might inhibit them to make a gift. By looking like a subdomain on the organization's domain, by looking like the rest of their website, it increases conversions, just that alone. One platform that can support any potential ask that you make of a constituent, reduces operating costs in other licenses to other software platforms that you would have, but also the wrangling of data from multiple platforms to get them into the systems that you already have in place that you run your business on. And one point I wanted to make about our adoption, since we're not positioning ourselves as a CRM. We have CRM capabilities, but we're not doing that. We're certainly not positioning ourselves as ERP. That increases our ability to deliver value in a short period of time. So when we go into a new organization, we don't tell them you have to rip out what you've got in place for your donor management system and start implementing DonorPoint. We say, no, here are the forms that you can put into place immediately, link to them from your website, link to them from your email campaigns, your social media presence, and create what we call rapid time to value. Guess I'm segueing into that next point about integrated email segmentation. So within our database, we have the ability to generate automatic lists that are based on donors' behavior, donor demographics, that will enable you to get customized, personalized messages to the proper segments that are most likely to respond to targeted appeals, to event registration opportunities, to recurring giving, and particularly to end-of-the-year campaigns. All this, again, supported by reporting and analytics that provide insights into what your constituents are doing and what the system is doing for them, and support decision-making. You know, one of my bugaboos is a lot of the times people are just getting reports for the sake of they have to have a report. We're very focused on the reports being the ones that support decisions that you have to make. And then lastly, all of this in one system so that we can support the other systems in which you run your organization, your ERP and your financial systems. Okay, Paul?
Awesome. Thank you, Ron, for going through all the details on that. And if anybody who's watching has any questions, and you can pop those into the chat, and we'll get through some of those. We did have a few of those come through, Ron, so I'll read those out and let you kind of discuss those in a little bit more detail. So the first one, which I think you touched on a little bit, was designations. So can we handle designations?
Yes, yeah. So we can handle designations. The way that designations work in DonorPoint are tied to effectively like GL codes in accounting terms. So when you are making a gift, if you think about our e-commerce model again, a gift is like a SKU. So it's like a line item in an invoice. And the GL code that is associated with that invoice, again, I'm speaking in e-commerce and accounting terms, corresponds to the fund or organization that is designated for that gift. So that's captured that's presented through forms that they make their gift on, that's captured with their gift in the database, and that's also available in reporting. So exports for ERP systems, for example, would capture line by line what each individual designation in a multi-designation donation would be, including a GL code suitable for import into that ERP system.
Great. And the second one that came through was about, can you work with most accounting, financial systems, and CRMs?
Yes, so we worked with a number of CRMs to date, including the big players in the market, such as Blackbaud, the smaller players in the market as well. There are a number of niche or boutique donor management databases out there. And on the ERP side, yes, exports to accounting systems. Most of our interchange today is done through file exports, which are configured as part of the initial setup with the DonorPoint account.
And the last one here that we have here is for events or galas that require table seating. Can we do some kind of online seating assignments for those?
Yes, so our event module is really rich and includes capabilities like ticketing, so QR codes suitable for scanning on the email receipts that receive. But yeah, specifically tabling, support for automatic tabling, so the system will automatically assign people to tables as they register for an event. You can have event packages that reserve an entire table, so the corporate sponsorship type model. Create slots for that table that might be only when people arrive for the event. The model is to capture the capacity that's coming in, make sure we don't exceed event limitations, even though we don't really know who's signed up yet, but enabling capturing that information at the event so that you can later reach out to those potential constituents. And then lastly, we've done interfaces where people can pick their seats, or their tables at least, from a visual layout of the event site with features such as reserving VIP or speaker sections from being selected, and providing automatically the feature to keep people together as they're registered. So if someone's registering a party of 4, keep them at the same table.
Great. Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to email Ron or myself. And once again, thank you guys for giving us your time today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and thank you again.